All right, so we're going to talk about the slope. So what is the slope might be your question. So the slope is the rate of change. So it's the rate, oh, that's too big, is the rate of change between 2 points on a line. So what that means is like, here's a line, here's a point, and here's a point. And we want to find how far apart they are really. Like what's the difference between here and here. And you can find that, or you can figure that out by first finding the ratio, which remember is a fraction, of the change in the y, which we will commonly call the rise, to the change in x, or commonly called run. So again, we're going to put some formulas up here. So remember, you set up a fraction, and it's the change in the y values over the change in the x values. I know this is all not really going to make sense until you see it and do it. Or what we're going to really use is here, and we're going to say the rise over the run. So pretty much what that rise over the run means is if it's going up or down, and then run means you're going left or right, right? So you're going up the hill, but to get up the hill, you have to go up and over, okay? So let's look about the 4 different types of slopes, okay? So there's 4 different types. There's a positive slope, which a positive slope is just when you're going up a mountain, right? So positive is when we're going uphill. Think about going up a mountain. If this was the mountain, we'd be going up the mountain. Another way it would be called is increasing. So the slope is either going uphill, it's positive, and if it's positive, it's increasing. There's also a negative slope, which means we're coming back down the mountain, or we might call it downhill, or decreasing. A zero slope is when we don't run at all. So a zero slope is like 0 over wherever you draw that horizontal line. So since this is y and this is x, it'll be 0 over 2, right? So it's a horizontal line. Whereas undefined is going to be up and down. So we rise, but we never run. So this is a vertical line. So we rise, but we never run. Okay, so that's a kind of a good way to remember it. So those are just the different types of slopes. And on some things you may be asked, okay, describe that slope. Is it positive, negative? What is it? Is it increasing or decreasing? So we'll talk about that in more detail, but let's first talk about looking at a graph and finding the slope, okay? So we have, in example 1, we have 2 points. We have this point and this point. And we want to figure out how far away they are. So, oh man, that keeps on happening, sorry. So remember, we do rise over run. So we do rise over run. So what that means is we're going to rise from this lower point up, count how many boxes you went up. So we went up 1, 2, 3. So I'll put a 3 here. So our rise was 3. And our run now is how far we go to the left. And we went 1, 2, 3, 4. So we ran 4. However, if it's a left, it's negative, right? Because this looks like we're coming down the mountain, right? We're coming downhill. So one of those numbers needs to be negative. So anytime you go to the left, it's negative. Remember, left, negative slope. So that means our slope is then just negative 3/4, right? Because we rose 3, ran to the left for it to be a negative 4. Okay, let's do the next one. So we have this point, and we always do rise over run. So how far did we rise? We went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We went up 6. And now we're running 1, 2. We're running 2. But this looks like if we were to make it a mountain, we're going uphill. So, and since we went to the right, it's a positive slope, right? So since we're going to the right, it's a positive slope. Okay. Okay, so now 6 over 2, right? 6 over 2 can be simplified to 3 over 1 or just 3. So our slope is 3. And we went to the right, so it's a positive slope. Okay, last one. I want you to try this one on your own. So take a moment and try this one on your own. All right, so hopefully you were able to find the rise over run, and we rose 2, but then we went to the left. Since we went to the left, it's a negative slope, so that's why this is a negative 4 here. And then you have to simplify your slope always, so then we get a negative 1/2. All right, let's keep on going. We're almost done. So you want to find the slope of each line below. Well, not really. We want to use the slope to graph, okay? So you're given the slope. You're given m equals 1/2, and you're given 1 point. You want to draw at least or as many points as you can. So you want to put as many points as you can. And this will make sense in a second, as you can. Try for 4. Some of them you won't be able to get 4, but 4 is kind of our lucky number, okay? So we have this point, and we're saying our rise is 1, and our run is 2. So that means we rise 1, and we go over 2. And I know I go to the right because this is positive, right? Because it's a positive number. So now here's my next point. I do that again. I rise 1. I go over to the right 2. Here's my next point. All right, so far I have 3 points. Now I can't go any further top, so now we kind of do the opposite. We're going to go down 1 and the left 2. We're going to go down and left 2. And I generally go until I run out of graph, to be honest. Just so I can get, when you draw your line, you want it to be as accurate as possible. So you really want to draw as many points as you possibly can. But if you can't fit that many, that's okay. So now looking at this, if I were to erase all the red and orange, now I lost the dot sign. Now I have a nice line here, right? So now I can connect all of those points. So now I can connect all of those points, trying to draw a straight line. Okay, so if I didn't have all those dots, that would have been really hard to draw a straight line there. Okay, so that's why we draw as many as possible. And again, we just went up and over because it was positive. I'm going to skip the second one, and I'm going to go to the third one. Okay, so this one is a negative 3/4. So my rise is 3, but my run is -4. So this means I'm going to the left. And I know that, again, because it's a negative slope. So from my point here, I'm going up 3 to the left 4. And there's going to be a point. Now, I can't go up and to the left anymore. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go down and to the right. Okay? So I'm going to go down 3, right 4. And there's a point. Down 3, right 4. So again, I'm just counting the boxes. And now I can't go anymore, right? Because I could go down 3, but I can't go right 4. So now this is our line. So now we connect those dots. And we can see that it's going to the left, which is good. Okay, one more, and then I'll have you come back to the second one. An undefined slope. Remember, undefined means it's vertical. So undefined means it's vertical, which means we're just rising, we're not running. So an undefined slope means we're rising, but no running. So it's vertical. So all I have to simply do is draw a vertical line from that point. And that's my answer. Okay. All right, last one. I want you to do this one on your own, and we could talk about this in class. My one addition I would say is that it's not just 3, it's 3/1. And that it's right. So it's positive, so it's right. Okay. So try that one on your own, and we could talk about that in class.